Great. Thank you so much to our student organizations. I'll invite you just to head back to the audience for the just closing remarks. I know that we're standing between us and a lovely reception in the atrium, but I just wanted to wrap up with a few remarks. So I really appreciate you spending the afternoon here with us. We've had such a wonderful slate of speakers and inspiring presentations. It's been just a joy and pleasure to work on this project over the last several months. And I wanted to just reflect on some of the work that we have heard about already today. So you've already been deluged with statistics about diversity and data, but just to look over in one other format, this was another infographic about gender balance in the tech companies that hopefully you can see up here. And this is overall gender. So this is taking into account all of the job classifications, technical, HR, marketing, leadership, et cetera. I want to go from the big picture down to the smaller, more sector specific. So here you have the breakdown of gender in leadership. So overall, you see the blue is men, purple-ish is women. The purple slice gets slightly smaller, but it's 25% or so in the leadership fields. But then when you look at tech, look how small the slice is for women, as you heard already in Nicole's remarks and elsewhere. So I think that is a challenge for us to address. Here's one other infographic that was addressed a little bit earlier today, and this is it's hard to see with the chairs here, sorry about that, the percentage of bachelor's degrees conferred to women in the US by major between 1970 and 2012. And unfortunately, the computer science one is very dim, but it's the gray one here. So you see it goes up, and then declines quite substantially. At the same time, the engineering one is, gradually climbing. Math and statistics actually is climbing fairly steadily and is, close to halfway. But there have been a number of studies about why computer science for women was on such an upward trajectory until the early 80s and then declined. Some people attribute it to actually the rise of personal computers and boys getting more access to them and having more of a sense of play with them than girls. And then just overall gender attitudes, both in families and at school, about where girls' interests and aptitudes might lie. So I would say this is a challenge for all of us in academia, is to look closely at that and to see what we can do to help improve those statistics of women going into computer science majors, overcoming that confidence gap or feeling like they might not belong there, the feelings of isolation or being alone, but really taking deliberate measures to try to make it a welcoming environment for women when they start the major and then persisting all the way through undergraduate, graduate, and postdoctoral studies. So as you can see, the progress to getting more girls and women into technical careers begins early on. So going backward, here are some images just of girls at various levels in their engagement with technology and computer science, where I think we need to be supportive at all of those levels. Now we've heard a lot about, sorry about this, reconsidering the pipeline. So we've heard this pipeline metaphor a lot. Does the pipeline look like this, where you start out at the beginning?
We're going to move the chairs.
Oh, thank you. Sorry. Thank you for the stage crew. Impromptu stage crew. Great. So reconsidering the pipeline. Does a pipeline look like this, where you start at one end, you plug in the interest in the young women, and then out at the other end pops, a fully fledged programmer or a tech leader? Or does it look something more like that? I think there are also programs that encourage this off-ramping and on-ramping of women as they go through different stages in their life and might have shifting priorities, and to be able to make it easier for them to explore different aspects of their lives and their careers. But even apart from the pipeline metaphor, I want us to think more about the ecosystem overall, and where might we be able to cultivate active areas and to be able to nurture those interests in a more organic way, a more deliberate way as well. I'm not saying that we shouldn't be creating those programs that help to guide and foster those activities and those pursuits, but to think of it not as exactly from point A to point B, but there might be a number of routes in between there. So that has to start early. And I just wanted to close with a couple of inspiring slides. This is actually my daughter at the Lawrence Berkeley National Lab, and she was so excited to go and see the cyclotron and see all the equipment. But I think that, we all have girls in our lives in some fashion. So I think we should all take the responsibility and the pleasure in trying to encourage them and to make it better environment for the next generation. So with that in mind, we created this activity that you are invited to participate in out in the reception, where we have these posters of what we are pledging to do to move diversity forward. And so here are some of the members of our team who have already done some samples for us. And we invite you to make your own contributions, and we'll be putting together a slideshow based on that. So in conclusion, I really just want to thank our partners at the Center for Long-Term Cybersecurity. It's been a real pleasure to work together with them. Sorry, before we go on. And to thank our other financial sponsors, Facebook, IBM, the School of Information, and then a number of campus partners. We're really gratified and pleased and thankful to have the wealth of support from various areas of campus. Finally, I just want to say thank you and a big shout out and congratulations to the whole team that has been working so hard over the last many months, meeting weekly and going through every detail of the program today and of the Athena Awards. I want to thank our award committee. And really, it's been such an honor and a pleasure to work together on this project with you. And I'm really grateful to have such a wonderful team here at Citrus. So please go enjoy the reception, and I hope to see you soon.